So Emmanuel, very happy to have
Hey,
you.
pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure's all mine, absolutely.
So tell us a little about your function and where you work and what has your education has
Background, all
prepared.
that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, for sure. So I went to school for marketing right here in the city, DePaul University. Majored in marketing, concentration in sales leadership. Going on 5 years, I've been a director with Aon Benfield, which is our reinsurance space. So my clients are large insurance companies, your CNAs, Zurichs, AIGs of the world, and I'm looking to help them with debt management, if you will, to a degree, more so risk management, risk appetite. So if they write a cyber insurance policy, that's kind of all the wave right now. You see the data breaches in the news with Home Depot or the Targets of the world losing, hundreds of thousands of customer information. I work on the policies to help cover that kind of stuff.
How has the internet and technology and social media has changed the way you do your sales and marketing efforts there?
So before I got into the space, it was very, hey, let's meet for coffee, let's meet for lunch. I've got a notepad or I've got these napkins next to me at lunch and let's write down what this deal's gonna look like. You have to be prepared to talk through and be knowledgeable about so many other facets than you had to in the past. LinkedIn, other social media sources, publications, there's just so much information with regards to rates, insurance rates, what things should be priced at, what are exposures that clients should be leery of going forward. The fact that obviously your competitors have access to that same information as well. So as you're trying to build relationships, work on renewals, prospect new business, if you drop the ball on one thing, some of your competitors can step in and kind of take advantage.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, from my experience too, watching what the industry has changed. We're talking like 10 years. It's not even going long back,
Correct.
right? I mean, this I call it the surplus of data and information,
Yeah.
right? Because we lived at a time there was deficit, right? The salesperson held all the cards and they had all the data, the pricing, the product knowledge, the industry insights. You had to have access to the sales rep to get all that out of them.
Yeah.
But today, with a simple Google search, you can find all that information on a company website,
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly
And then you can compare prices. You have all these social sites that actually shares reviews of customers' experience, right?
Yeah.
So they can even see the social proof before they make a commitment. So with that industry change happening, how do you think the salesperson's role has changed from just being purely a sales rep to also play a little part in that marketing aspect of it, right? Supplementing the marketing department with some of that help. So how has that changed in your space?
Yeah, you've got to be a differentiator. I think, I'd like to think sales folks knew that, since before my time, but maybe it wasn't as important when there was less access to information, right? If everyone's got the same access to the same information, then how do you use that best to your advantage? If that's social media posts to kind of be the first one on top of that information, perhaps that's what that looks like. Making sure you're staying out in front of your clients with the content that you are learning to show that they are top of mind and you are continuing to grow. I think any salesperson who's not continuing to learn on the job either probably needs a new role or needs to kind of readjust their focus, because things are always changing. The information isn't the same as it was, to your point, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 days ago, right? And if you don't have that top of mind and are using that to help source new clients and help the clients you got right now, you're going to be at a disadvantage.
Most certainly. One of the things that I read recently was from Serious Decisions. They've done some research and found out almost 67% of the buyer's journey is complete before the buyer ever reaches out to a sales rep. That's just a crazy stat, right?
That is.
Because what that means is buyers have all the information they need to make a decision is available to them, right? So a small business or mid-sized companies, a lot of times they underestimate how much influence they have on a buyer's decision before they ever had a chance to even talk to that buyer.
Yeah.
That it all comes down to the information, right? The information that they put out on their websites, on their social platforms, and everything that they make available to make the buyer's decision a lot more educated and easier, right?
Yeah.
So I think from that sense, I think marketers have a lot that we can do to make our organization, not just to promote our organization as, we are the best, but to provide value and education.
Yeah.
So the consumers or our customers find value in learning from us, and then by learning from us, they treat us as a trusted advisor, right? And then that decision becomes a lot easier for them, because they're not selling me, they're educating me about my problem. They're also telling me the right solution I should choose, so I can either improve my revenue, increase my revenue, reduce my costs, or improve efficiencies in my operations, right?
1,000%.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the buyers want, right? So, and I know you're in the risk business and mitigating risk and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you've seen, that businesses can do to make sure that they're protecting themselves and covering their backs, so to speak?
Well, that's getting out in front of things. I mean, you posed an excellent point. Is that, we'll take two steps back. The marketing and the sales function is one and the same at this point. Your marketers should be sales folks to a degree, and vice versa, right? Because as clients are looking for information and they stumble upon your article, your post, your tweet, your blurb, it's like, okay, well, this guy seems to know what he's talking about, or this gal seems to know what she's talking about. Let me see what else they have. What have they been working on? And they can find out a great deal of information about you as well before they go down finding who can solve their problem. But as far as getting out in front of risk mitigation, risk management, hey, there's going to be losses in insurance. There's going to be things that happen on the business front that are also unexpected, right? Your sales forecast, you don't hit the sales numbers you thought you would. You don't get the big client that you thought you would. That's why planning, that's why those internal databases around, okay, well, what are we working on? What are our prospects? How close are we in the process with those prospects? And you're planning for, well, if this happens, this happens, this happens, we still have this option. It's the same thing with risk management. Okay, look, Mr. Customer, you're protected against this. And we've talked about this in every renewal meeting for the last 5 years, 10 years, 2 years. However, these are the 8 other items where we haven't secured your business, either because it's elsewhere or because we haven't done a good enough job conveying the value of you having protection in these pockets. Let's continue to continue to have this conversation. Sometimes customers will get on board, sometimes they will not. But you don't want to be in a situation where there is a loss, there is a problem, and they feel like, well, heck, I just saw you last week, or we connect every quarter, and we have done so for the last 5 years, and you've never talked about this item, right? Then it looks like you're uneducated, and it also looks like you don't care, right?
Yeah, most certainly. Well, I'm glad that we had this opportunity to talk. I'm sure that our audience will walk away with some great insights. Thanks again for joining us. Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.